Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping the season finale of Real Housewives of Potomac. Thank you guys for sticking with me this whole season. We made it against all odds. They kept us entertained. They kept us kind of wanting more. Wanting less in some areas, but wanting more in some. It's fine. We made it. Either way, we here. So let's get right into it. But also, I'm going to admonish you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the mess. So Karen and Ray are finalizing the plans for their vow renewal ceremony that I still don't quite understand why it's happening. I say that as someone who does not want a wedding. I enjoy attending weddings as a guest. I don't like being in them, and I don't want one of my own. So to have a vow renewal, a second whole ass wedding, is just baffling to me. Then again, I ain't never met nobody I wanted to marry. So I say this, total lack of experience. But why is this happening? Why is this happening? So Juan and Robin and Ashley and Michael go on a double date. I was so uncomfortable in anticipation of what was maybe going to happen between Michael and Juan. We all know that Michael has this obsession with Juan, but what I realized this episode is that the energy is kind of reciprocated. Like, Juan is not as turned off, as uncomfortable as, whatever, by Michael as I thought that Juan was. I think maybe I made that up in my mind that Juan is uncomfortable with Michael. He actually doesn't really seem to be. So they have like a legit friendship, I suppose. And it's like, okay, this is the thing that's happening. And I don't want us to like judge this relationship as like Michael is gay or Juan is gay. I think what makes this relationship, this friendship so interesting is that Juan seems to be more personable, more emotionally available to Michael than he does to Robin. Watching Juan and Robin interact is really odd and uncomfortable because they just don't look like two people who are in a romantic relationship. Looking at them is like looking at cousins or something. It's just they don't seem to be emotionally or romantically intimate with each other, and it's odd. Even I'm always uncomfortable when people bring up babies to a couple because you never know what that couple's struggle might be. And I realize this is a reality show. They have to, ask these questions. But I cringed when Ashley brought up, having another baby. Juan didn't really seem to want to talk about it. And I found myself having to agree with Robin several times throughout this episode, which I don't like. Don't put me in a position where I have to agree with Robin. Don't do that to me. Juan doesn't seem to want to talk about the baby thing at all. He's like, oh, it'll happen when it happens. Like, he's so dry when it comes to Robin. And it just, again, it makes me uncomfortable. And Robin once again brings up the point that she's brought up several times before on the show, which is that, when they first had kids, Juan was just not an active father. He was still playing ball, but he, wasn't there. He also, I think that's when he was, unfaithful to her. And it seems to be a sore spot for Juan still. And we'll get to that a little bit later in the episode. But my friend brought up a really good point of like, do these married couples not have a conversation about what they're going to discuss on camera ahead of shoot time? Like, not to break the fourth wall or anything, but it's like, were you not aware that like this conversation was going to take place and that this is going to be a part of your storyline this year? It was, I don't know. Juan's energy and his attitude is just really off-putting. So they bring up the Bassetts, and attending the wedding. And, Michael doesn't have anything nice to say about Candace or Chris, especially, as it relates to his wife. He's protective of Ashley, I suppose. And you know, Candace is not a nice person, but we have seen that Chris has actually tried to extend the olive branch to Ashley, which I think was quite admirable. Candace is the one who's immature and can't move on or, you know, live her life like a normal human adult. But Robin made such a good point. You know, Michael is just, you know, kind of, he bashes Chris about like, well, what does he even do? And he's living off of his wife, and his wife is living off of her mom. And Michael has a classism issue. He has an elitism issue when it comes to Chris. And I think that that's a thing within white culture. They aren't divided necessarily on, you know, obviously race. They're the same race. But when it comes to class, when it comes to socioeconomic status, there is something there. I think that's where white people really beef. Like, that's their intersection where they're just like, I don't see it for them. So I think I have to agree with Robin. Michael is very classist, elitist when it comes to his judgment of Michael, you know, of Chris, you know, calling him like white trash. Like, that's textbook classism. Candace signs her contract. Best of luck to everyone involved. I don't understand the outfit that she wore to sign that contract. I'm not saying that you need to wear a business suit, but you're going to sign a legal document that's supposed to be like life-changing for you, and this is the ensemble we chose. I really like the hair. I just didn't understand the top with the pant. Okay. I also, you know, I'm a person who's pretty emotional. I cry quite often. I don't understand. Candace is literally always crying. Like, the number of times, if you tried to play a drinking game for every time that Candace has to take a napkin to the corner of that eye, you would be passed out, wasted, done for. You couldn't drive home. You couldn't do a damn thing. If you took a shot for every time per episode, Candace has to take a napkin, a paper towel, a tissue to the corner of that eye, you be out. I just don't get it. It's like, sometimes it just comes off as like performative, but then at other occasions, I'm like, I think you might be dead ass serious and you just are that out of control of your emotions, like as an adult person. Moving on. So Juan and Robin arrive at Robin's new warehouse space for her hats that are apparently selling really well. She needed to expand. I was confused though, because she said, now I can get inventory. Or did she say more inventory? I was a little bit confused, because it's like, didn't you have too much inventory and that's why you need somewhere to store this? Why do you need more inventory? I don't understand Robin's business. It's not for me to understand. Best of luck to everyone involved. But Robin does once again try to have the baby talk with Juan, which I think is fair. Robin is in her 40s. If she's going to have another baby, it's going to put her body through some things that her previous pregnancies did not go through. Your body's just, you know, oftentimes more at risk when you have a baby as an older woman. And she wants to know if Juan is going to be a more active father than he was the first time around. This is a very fair question. They probably didn't have this conversation before, you know, when they had their first two kids. And now as an older person with more experience, she wants to be sure that he's going to be a more hands-on father than he was the first time. This really triggers Juan. He's tired of her bringing this up. What it sounds like to me is that Juan does not actually want to be held accountable for the time during which he was not a hands-on or an active father or a good partner to Robin. I remember in previous seasons they talked about this in counseling, and it always feels like Juan shuts Robin down a lot because he does not want to be held accountable. And I think that comes from his own trauma of, you know, him losing both of his parents. So he kept saying, you know, that I take pride in being a certain kind of father. Well, you only came to be that certain kind of father later down the line. And no one is saying that you are the same kind of father that your father was, but the truth is the truth. Like, these are facts. And the fact that he called her stupid, I really didn't like that. I think it was just his attitude towards her, I really hated. He's dismissive And to shut down her feelings like that, it is a reasonable conversation to have. Even though you might be tired of having it, if y'all are discussing the prospect of having another baby, she has every right to inquire about what type of father you intend to be this time around. And to storm off and to, it was immature and it was unkind. And just watching her like chase after him was just like, ugh, I didn't like it. I'm not really here for Juan this season. I just don't. He's like, you're making me look like a dickhead. And it's like, no, you're making yourself look really bad because your wife is trying to talk to you about something that's really important to her and apparently important to you if you keep hinting that you want this other baby, but you don't want to have a real conversation or be held accountable for your past actions, which we just want to make sure aren't going to happen again. That's just, Juan need to grow up and be held accountable. It was a huge turnoff too. Like for so long, Juan has been like, the most attractive of the Potomac husbands, and Juan's so fine, da da da. Ain't nobody fine enough to have that kind of a nasty ass attitude towards their partner. I'm sorry. Fix it. Don't like it. So we finally get to the day of the vow renewal. I don't understand the venue. I don't understand the logistics. A lot of times people will have events in like an industrial park where there's like a space that it is a venue for different events. Like we've done it for friends, baby showers, bridal showers, etc. That's a real interesting choice for what's ultimately a wedding, because this isn't being treated like a vow renewal. This is being treated like a whole ass wedding for a blushing bride. So the venue itself, the location itself, I thought was a very interesting choice. But why is it upstairs and there's no elevator? You have older family members. Your husband is an older gentleman. Why is it upstairs? And then why are the vows taking place up another set of stairs when you have to like walk with a heavy wedding dress? I don't understand the choices. I don't understand the choices. I'm not even someone who's great at planning, but even I was like, this don't seem right. Anywho, let's talk about the fashions. Wendy's dress was too small. If you couldn't even sit in the car, at first I thought that she was in the car like that because she didn't want to wrinkle the dress. The dress was actually too small. I really cannot stand clothes that don't fit. I can't stand it because as an adult person, I take comfort really seriously. I don't want to have to wear something that I have to pull down and tug at all day and that I can't move in comfortably. Why were there no other options? This was bad. Ashley's dress was too short. Ashley looked like she was about to go on Dancing with the Stars, or like she was about to go on stage to perform at Vegas, or like she was going to be on the Ice Capades or something. It looked like a costume instead of a dress. And Ashley has a very cute body. She has really nice legs. She has nice boobs, all this stuff. This dress was not a good choice. Did not like. Candace's makeup is so confusing to me sometimes because it's heavy even for reality TV. All the ladies are always made up, but Candace's contour is sometimes just so harsh where it's like, did y'all even attempt to blend it at all? It's very hard. Like she wears stage makeup. Like her makeup looks like she is performing on a stage and she wants the people in the cheap seats to see her really, really well. I don't think that we need makeup to be that heavy on her very small face ever again. I was annoyed that she called Ashley an ogre. And it's like, once again, everybody else around you is trying to be really mature and just, speak and move on with their lives. And you have to hold a grudge. It's just the immaturity for me. Once again, Chris got to be the most tired man in America. The most tired. I didn't like Candace telling Wendy to speak to Giselle, or like, don't tell me who to speak to. And like, you call more attention to things when you try to force people to do things that they don't want to do. If she don't want to speak to them, she don't have to. This day isn't about either of them. It's about Karen and Ray inexplicably renewing their vows. So like, that's messy to me to be like, oh, you need to speak. You don't. I don't have to. Who gonna make me? I don't like that. So there's a question about Giselle having a dude. She says that he's local, that he's a commentator, but she doesn't want to give any details. Y'all think Giselle got a man for real? It didn't even occur to me that she would be lying, but one of my friends asked me and I was like, would she lie though? She didn't want to give the producers any tea. And I understand, you know, keep things private where and when you can. Slide in the comments. Let me know if y'all think Giselle got a man for real, for real. Again, the interaction between Juan and Robin is just, he is so much more personable with everyone else except for Robin. Or maybe it's just something that we just don't ever see, but it is so strange. Like, why is this? So Juan decides that he wants to try to broker peace between Chris and Michael. At some point, you know, Michael feels like, you put your hands on me, you should apologize to me. At some point, Candace gets overwhelmed and says that this is just too much white privilege for her. Candace continues to have the countenance and the awareness of a sheltered white woman. There's no exercise of white privilege happening between these two white men who are having a disagreement. I don't think that Candace, much like a very sheltered white woman, knows what white privilege actually is, if that's what she thought was taking place right there. It was a class war. It was elitism. But those were two white men. I think sometimes Candace doesn't know that she's married to a white man, or she doesn't want to admit that he's a white man, or she thinks that her white man is a different kind of white man than Ashley's white man. At the end of the day, however you slice it and dice it, you're still married to a white man too. So this whole thing of like white privilege is just ridiculous. And I think Chris kind of tried to call her out on it a little bit later, but I don't think that even Chris, being a white person, could fully articulate that like that's not even what was happening there. He was just more so saying like, you don't have to express everything that you think right when you think it. And of course, once again, she flies off the handle and tells him to shut the F up talking to her. And it's just like, why do you feel like it's appropriate to talk to your husband like that every time you get mad? That can't always be your go-to. She continues to just make me uncomfortable and to just baffle me. It looks like Juan succeeded in getting some sort of peace agreement between Michael and Chris. We'll see how long that lasts. But that was the episode. You know, they partied. I assume they had a good time. We'll see what happens at the reunion. I am a little bit nervous because I don't understand the choice to have Nicki Minaj as a host, especially given some of the recent headlines that we've seen about Nicki Minaj. But this is a part of my content, so I am going to watch. I'm hoping that her part on the reunion won't be a very long one. I'm excited to see what the reunion is going to give. So let me know what you guys thought about this finale. Did it give what it was supposed to have gave? Slide in the comments and let me know. Be sure to check back in with me so we can talk about the reunion, which I hope they don't break into 16 parts. And also check out some of my other videos. I'm currently recapping the current season of Insecure, so check that out as well. Thank you guys for joining me. As per usual, be sure to like and comment and share and subscribe. And if you want to contribute financially to this platform, become a patron of mine on my Patreon. The link is in the episode description, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.